Good morning everybody, welcome to another webinar. Thank you for joining me. A couple of things. First of all, this is YouTube live, and that means there is usually a 10 to 15 second delay in me responding to any questions or answers and in the screen projecting to you guys. So if you do have any questions, give me a little bit of time to answer them. If you do have any trade setups, please let me know. I haven't done a full review this morning, so we're going to go through and have a look what is out there. The purpose of this room is to review the opportunities that meet the rules outlined in the educational material at freeforexeducation.co.uk. And good morning to everybody. Just give me a yes if you can hear me, and you should also be seeing the Forex Factory calendar. Just give me a yes if you can do. Morning Arsan, Peter. I'm just refreshing YouTube, it's frozen again. Yep, you can hear me, see me, excellent, you can see the screen. So on the Forex Factory calendar, we do have a little bit of news out today. We are Tuesday, the 30th of July, and we have some dollar news out. Some consumer confidence at 3 p.m. So we could see a little bit of movement as a result of that, but it's not going to be a major news event for me. Other than that, it doesn't look as though there's a great deal of news out. Nope, not a great deal of news out. So nothing that would stop me from day trading today. So we'll go through the portfolio as we did on the last webinar. Now I still have the workings out from the last webinar because this is a different Ninja Trader to the one I use on a daily basis, so it still has the workings out. And on the Aussie dollar CAD, morning Ian, on the Aussie dollar CAD, this is what we had worked out. We had a potential cipher, and we talked we spoke about potential double bottom, which was confirmed, and a pullback for a 26.18. And if you recall, we talked about how this was not valid because it did not come into our price reversal zone, which is this highlighted blue area just here. So that was the reason why we didn't take that, and it's the reason why we have rules, and it keeps us out of losing trades and losing opportunities just like this. I actually think it's quite handy, guys, don't you? Having a different Ninja Trader that still has the workings out from the last webinar, because we get to go over those trades that we talk about. And it's good to reflect on them and see what the outcome was. Morning, Khan, welcome. Arsan, could you take a look at Pound Aussie and Pound New Zealand? Yep. In actual fact, I may as well. I'll do the Aussie dollar CAD first, and then we'll take a look at those, because I haven't looked at them properly either. But the two setups that we've been looking at for the past few weeks, I know have been blown out of the water with all the bearish pressure. So we'll do this one first, and then we'll hop over to the Pound Aussie and Pound New Zealand. Again, guys, I haven't done a full review, so if there are any trades that you're looking at to get involved with, please let me know. I don't want to miss any opportunities if they are valid as per my rules. I'm going to put a structure level in just down here at the lows, and we did speak about this as well, didn't we? The fact that we had the move lower, the pullback, the move lower, we violated structure, then we violated to the upside, and even though this looked like a head and shoulders, it wasn't valid because we violated structure. So this is a classic trade where structure was not held, and it would have been a losing trade if we got an entry reason. Let's drop down to the 240 then. We'll take a look at the cipher pattern. This may or may not be valid for you. We do have a swing in the market, but it's very ugly with all this this here. It does not make for a clean leg. What am I doing? Drawing tool. X to A, A to B, B to C, CD completion. And you could look for a rotation pattern just down here. And if we drop down to the 60, well, we are having a double bottom here, though my problem with this is that we had a move lower, a pullback, then the move lower, and then when we pulled back, we actually pulled back into structure, meaning that this double bottom has already played out and come to the point that I thought it would. So I won't be using that as an entry. Instead, I'll be waiting for a confirmed violation to the top side, or a head and shoulders, as Khan points out exactly, and I'll be waiting for a pullback for a 26.18, which will actually give us a nice head and shoulders. So that's what I'm going to be waiting for on the Aussie dollar CAD, and targets will be that 382. The way things are setting up, we haven't violated structure as yet, but well, from the look of it, that we may or may not hold the structure level. Was the divergence? Yeah, we did go overbought there with divergence, so yeah, it's a potential, but it's a good few hours away. Want to see first of all that we do hold structure, and as you can see right now, it's looking like we're violating it and pushing lower. So we'll just wait and see what happens with the Aussie dollar CAD. We'll take a quick look at the 15, see if there is anything on the lower time frames. Just junk. This type of movement here, just up and down, just consolidation, is not the type of movement I like to see. So I'll keep it on the 60 and I'll move it to one side, and we'll have a look at this in the chat later this afternoon, see what's come of it. So we will take a look then at those other currency pairs. Pound Aussie first, so let me move the chat out the way and we'll bring this over. Okay, I'm kind of glad that our AB equals CD pattern got violated, because I was not feeling too confident about getting involved with it with all the bearish pound pressure. But let's just run through what we spoke about last. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Let's speak about what we spoke about in the last webinar, and that was this potential setup here, where we was looking for it was indicating that we could have seen a rotation and a move to the downside, and that's exactly what we saw. There was nothing I could personally get involved with, and we saw the move to the downside. I know somebody was looking at shorting the markets, playing for 178.800, I think it was. I don't think they got the retracement they were looking for. Anyway, we will delete that off, and we will look at this from the dailies. So this was our AB equals CD pattern, which has now been violated. So we could actually still hold this area and then see the market go higher again. Problem here is you would need your stops and ATR below this very low, and you're talking about a huge amount of risk. You're probably talking 200 pips in total if you were to get an entry, and it's now not going to be a setup for me. Bigger picture then, well, if we can violate this level just here, which is also this level just here, so we'll move that down a touch. If we have a confirmed break below, close below that level, where could we come to? Well, we could come down to this point just here, 174 hundredths. So that's around about a 300 pip move that we could still see come off. What else have we got? Not too much. Okay, let's go take a look at the 240. It is a bit messy, you're right, Khan. Here on the 240, we now have a confirmed, if I zoom in here, confirmed break below, close below this level. And if we read the trend from our swing high to this point, we had a move lower, a pullback, a move lower, a pullback, a move lower, pullback, move lower, pullback, and a move lower. We have, however, only just made a new low below this level. What happened to the RSI? RSI was down at 7, so massively oversold here in the RSI, and as you can see, we kind of just bounced from that point, didn't we? We just saw a ping back the other way, and this is your entire outside return now. And if you were looking for shorting opportunities, then your first chance entry is right here. Those of you that have done the educational material, first chance entry, second chance entry, and a last chance entry just up here. Let's just take another look left. Okay, let's take a look at the 60. And I know that a few of you had some decent winners on the pound pairs over the last few days. Banked a good few hundred pips out of them, so well done to you guys. This type of directional movement is great when you can catch it. This for me is best on the 5 range. Drop down to your lower time frames and get involved with the trend. There just wasn't anything for me yesterday, but well done to everyone else. I know some of you had a few breakout patterns as well, so well done. It's nice to see the educational material is paying off. Here as well, we had the RSI massively oversold, this time at 5.4, and we're seeing a retracement now, and this little shelf right here is a key area for me. This looks like it was some form of breakout pattern, and typically when we see moves back into the middle of these, this is where we tend to get our entries, and you can very well use that to play for a retest of this level, and if you're feeling lucky, playing for the big daily extension down to 17400s, did we say? Yeah, 17400s if you're feeling lucky. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. Did anybody have anything on the pound Aussie that they won on? Pound has really been tanking the last few days. And was this a valid pattern? Well, you had a swing in the market. You had 1, 2, 3. That did meet the rules there. So there was a breakout pattern here, guys, if you caught it. I think I looked at this and it wasn't one for me in the end. May have just been because of this leg here. But that's where we broke out, and as you can see now we are pulling back to structure. Let's just zoom out of the 15 and take a look. Okay, there isn't too much here for me. Do we have an AB equals CD pattern? I think it's going to be too big. No, it's not actually. We can duplicate that, we can move it up. Is it an AB equals CD pattern or is it a harmonic move? It's an AB equals CD pattern, so we may have a 1618 extension up there. We do, almost to the pip. Do we have any psychological numbers up here? No, we don't. The only psychological number was down here at 17700. Highlighted the wrong fib there, guys. 1 second. We want 1618. There we go. We have that fib up there. Do we have anything like a 382? Yes, we do. We have a 382 in that zone as well. Let's leave the 382 on. In actual fact, you could, I'm just going to go back to the 60. The main swing is actually up here. Yeah, okay. So we'll take it from there, and that 382 then comes dead on the 127 within 1 pip. So we've got AB equals CD pattern, we've got some fib confluence, we've got structure, which just so happens to be a breakout pattern, and as mentioned, the middle of these tend to be the areas where we get our entries. And this could be an opportunity where we have stopped an ATR above the high, so a very small amount of risk in comparison to the reward, and then hold for potentially the bigger move to the downside. So that is a potential there. Or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, just play for the fib targets, 382 and the 61.8. So we'll take a quick look at the 5. Very, very similar to the 15, hardly any difference at all. So I'll keep that on the 15, guys. That is the pound Aussie. Did anybody have anything else on the pound Aussie? If not, I will move it to the side and we will take a look at the pound New Zealand. Nope. Okay, here it is. Pound New Zealand. If you have anything on this, guys, please let me know. As you can see, we've still got our workings out. We were looking at the big cipher pattern, which has once again broken to the downside. Cipher is still valid, but we were also looking at this potential head and shoulders, and we came into structure just here, and then we broke to the downside. So we will delete this off and start from the higher time frame as usual. Morning, Marcus. Just talking about how the pound New Zealand and pound Aussie potential trades we've been looking at for weeks have been blown out the water. But the cipher pattern is still valid if it's something for you. It's way too big for me to even look at. And now that we've lost the confluence of the AB equals CD pattern and the potential head and shoulders, that just isn't anything I'm looking at anymore. So we can project that we may see a move down to this level, down to structure lows. And if we read the trend based on the dailies, move lower, pull back, move lower, pull back, move lower, pull back. We haven't as yet had the pullback. I'm just going to go ahead here and highlight the wicks. As you can see, what price did is we came into the wicks, we reversed off that level, so we will see if there was any entry on the lower time frame. Here on the 240, well, we're still within the wicks there, but on the 240 we now have this move to the downside. So if you're still projecting that price can go lower, and I would look at this psychological number down here, which is the 180-200, just pretty much on the upper level of our structure level just here, of our price reversal zone. That's where I'd look for targets. Okay, so you've got three areas here where if you wanted to look for shorts, right now we're within the first chance entry. So let's drop down another time frame here and take a look. So first of all, up at this point, if we look at what went on here, 1, 2, triple test up at this level, and then we had a breakout. We never pulled back for a 26.18 though. However, this would have been your entry up here. Did you have RSI confirmation? Well, on the first test, because this is a pound pair, you did. We were over bought at 78 with divergence. So did anybody get involved with this? You could have got involved here on the third test, around about that amount of risk and this amount of reward. As you guys know, I didn't get involved in this. I was looking at buying the market, and this for me, just when I was looking at buying based on everything that was pointing bullishly, was not something that I was going to take. But did anybody? Ahsan, well done, well done. Where were your targets? A retest of the lows? 320 pips. Just goes to show that this strategy works very well. Now, if my bias was still short and we didn't have the AB equals CD pattern and we didn't have the cipher pattern and we didn't have the very big bullish rally, then this would have been something I would have considered. Valid opportunity to sell the market. Triple top RSI confirmation. There still would have been quite a lot of risk in this trade. Even if you got a very nice entry, you're still talking 70 pips. I would have preferred a 26.18. I would have preferred a violation and a pullback. But that did not happen, so well done, Arsan, for catching that. That's a beautiful move. If we look down now at the area where we can look for shorting opportunities, well, there's nothing here. We're still within the price reversal zone, but we don't have any RSI confirmation. There's no double top here. If we were to look for shorting opportunities, we would now need to drop this down to the wicks on this time frame and drop down to the 15, and it looks as though we may have violated structure on the 15. Yep, as you can see here, looks like we're double topping. We do have the RSI confirmation, but it's not going to be a valid double top because we have violated structure. So even though this is setting up for a double top, it's not going to be valid for me. This is probably going to be something like an AB equals CD pattern. Of course, it may not be. It may be a valid double top because the 60 minutes has held, but it is not a valid opportunity for me. Not a valid first chance opportunity. Is there any structure at all? Let me just put a structure level on and look left. We'll see if there's any kind of structure. Well, there is actually. There is a structure at that level. So while it may not be a valid first chance entry, you do have a level here of structure. And this could just be another double top. You can see there's a little bit here as well. Did we come up and test the 18400? We came within a couple of pips of it. Let's go to the 15. Okay, let's take another look at this. So here on the 15, two structure levels on, one at the close of the candles, one at the upper wicks. We know we've got the RSI confirmation. Let's look left again. So we have one. Did that level hold? No, it did not. This level, yeah, we had a small reaction here and here. That did not hold. But you can see as we drop down the time frame, structure doesn't tend to hold as well on the lower time frames, and you do sometimes see these violations. And I think you want to allow a little bit for these, because you can clearly see at this zone we saw a rejection, even though we violated by probably 2 pips here. Look at the size of rejection that we had off at this point, even though structure was violated. If you look at the higher time frame, the 16240, this was pretty much would have been a structure hold most likely. So you maybe want to allow for a little bit for the lower time frame. You can see we've seen a decent reaction there as well. This is only the 15-minute, guys, so let's just keep going a little bit further left and see what other kind of reactions we have. Okay, I've just gone the wrong way. Okay. So we also had another 3, 1, 2, 3. We had a couple more tests here, guys. How many is that we've had now? Maybe 7. Okay, we're up to an area here. Not really too much there. Okay, so actually we've had quite a few tests at that point, haven't we? So this could be a valid top that's occurred just beyond the first chance entry. Let's go and take a look at the 60 again. So we've come close to that 18400. We've violated the structure level. So tell me a more conservative way that we could enter this trade. There are a couple of ways. I'll tell you the first one. The first one is that we see a structure hold. Another one is that we see a red candle. There's actually 3, I suppose. So a structure hold is one, that ensures we don't blow right through. A red candle shows that there is resistance at this level and we don't just blow right through again. The third one, the most conservative way, is what type of strategy, guys? What type of strategy is that? $26.18. So 26.18, if you're super conservative, is a potential here. Wait for the confirmed violation of this level. Pull back, and sell the 61.8, or if you're a little bit more aggressive, this structure hold right now is an opportunity. What would be the risk on this trade? ATR is currently, wow, ATR is currently 20 pips, so that would be 30 pips of risk for 100. 30 pips of risk for 100. Let's go and take a look at the 240. So on the 240 we've seen a very bearish candle and we went massively oversold. And what I do like to see is look how quickly the oversold has disappeared. We have gone from massively oversold 6 here, and then we've within one candle, this bullish candle here, we've actually then gone straight back to normal. We're oversold at 30. So we've seen quite a big change there very quickly, and it's an indication to me that we just didn't stay oversold for very long and we quickly lost that oversoldness. So that would play into a valid selling opportunity just here. Okay, I'm going to take this as an opportunity, so just give me a second guys. I need to set up my actual charts. Give me a minute if you will. And we've got around 2 minutes until that candle closes. I want to see it red because I want to see that it actually holds. And I've got to set up my other chart, so just give me a second guys. I didn't think there'd be any opportunities, but 30 pips for 90 just to target ones, with us being very bearish here, is an opportunity I'm happy to take. Soon as I can find my login for my other charts. Okay. Okay, so give me a second guys, I've got to go over and find the pound New Zealand. Okay, which is here. And we're going to drop down to the 15. Sorry guys, I know you can't see this. And we're going to see if we get a red candle here. Okay, 2 targets, we're going to sell. I want my stop 20 pips above the high, so that's going to make 10. Just 1 second guys, sorry I know you can't see what's going on here, it's on a different chart. 18400s we said for second targets. Where did we say for second targets? 18200 wasn't it? 18200. Okay. 10 pips above that level. So let's see if I can bring over these charts for you. Show you what I'm looking at. And I've also got to post this out as a trade idea guys. So Sorry guys about the messing around while you can't see the charts. I had to load my actual charts up, and then I've had to connect for my sorry guys, just give me 1 second. I can't do two things at once. No good at multitasking. Let me get this sorted and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, I want to do a screenshot of this. Okay, is it going to allow me to do the screenshots while I'm doing YouTube live? Hopefully it doesn't come up with an error. Wow, that was a lot of messing around. Okay, so short, pound, New Zealand, double top, trend continuation. Okay, so there we go guys, I'm short that double top, and let me go back to the chart. Apologies guys for all the messing around. 25 pips here for 97 to target ones and 172 to target twos. Let me catch up there. I hope it's short because I sell both pound Aussie and pound New Zealand with half instead of 0.5, and now I'm scared to death. Yeah, a valid opportunity here. It would have been a better opportunity for me if this was a first chance entry. I would have preferred the opportunity, but we formed a retest at an area that has been tested historically multiple times. We had a nice area to put stops as well, which is just behind that 18400, and we saw a red candle hold at that level. So a 4-to-1 reward to risk here. Not as high probability as I would have liked, because as I say, it wasn't a first chance entry, but nevertheless valid opportunity. A retest. We must have tested 7 or 8 times there historically, so we'll wait and see if we get some movement to the downside. Would be nice to catch some of these pips a lot of you have been earning on the pound New Zealand, or on any of the pound pairs. Any questions then on that currency pair? Okay, so let's go and take a look at. We're not going to have time to do all these currency pairs, I'm afraid, because we're 35 minutes in already. So if there's a currency pair you guys want me to look at, please let me know. Other than that, I will pick and choose the best ones. What do we have? Okay, let's take a look at the Euro New Zealand, see what's on here now. We had our nice winning pattern, didn't we, on here? Our nice breakout pattern, which broke out. Not only that, we also had our big AB equals CD pattern, which played out. There's now just hit the 382. So if anybody was aggressive with that AB equals CD pattern, well, congratulations. That was this one of them that was 400 pips? No, this was the 200 pipper. So that's now hit target. So the AB equals CD pattern has played out. So we'll do our higher time frame analysis and see what is available. So structure level on. Okay, I'm going to put a structure level on down at the lows here. So this was not a valid double bottom, so this is not a valid 2618 opportunity here. And as we zoom in, well, we know that we had the move lower, the pullback, the move lower, and now we're seeing a pullback. So this would be the outside return, and we could look for shorting opportunities potentially down to this point. So let's go and take a look at the 240. And here on the 240, not a great deal. You can see that price has been moving quite directionally. A small pullback, directional movement, small pullback, and we have now just put in this big higher high, higher close candle above this area. So I would only really be looking for long opportunities just simply based on the direction of the move. And the fact now that we have bypassed the first chance entry, and second chance entry, well, could appear anywhere within this price reversal zone. But right now, just looking at this, it looks as though based on the higher high, higher close, we could see a little pop to the upside here. Let's drop down to the 260, to the 60, sorry. I know some of you were looking at this potential rising channel. It wasn't valid, and the reason for that was the RSI confirmation. We needed to be overbought on the first test, and right here we were not. We were only overbought at 78, and we do need to see bearish divergence. So that was a very nice looking rising channel that did not meet the rules, because we do need the RSI confirmation, guys. I mean, if it's valid for you and you don't need the RSI, well, we're still within the channel and we could still see a pop to the downside here. For me personally, I think that we're going to go a little bit higher here. Let's go and take a look at the 15. And the 15, there's nothing. Nope, nothing. We'll take a quick look at the 5. No, nothing here for me either. So nothing on the pound New Zealand, guys. Let me know if you have anything on the euro New Zealand, sorry. Getting confused with my currency pairs. We'll take a quick look at the euro dollar. But other than the pound moving, I really don't have a great deal that I'm looking at. We'll take a look at the dailies. See what there is. Has anybody got anything on the euro dollar? We know we've come into this structure level. We've already seen the move that we expected, and that was that pop to the upside. If we go down to the 240, we tend to be, looks like we're just consolidating here, guys, off this run down to this point. Looks like we just entered consolidation. This spike here makes it very ugly to get involved with anything here for me. Let's go down to the 60. 60, you've got a little double bottom here that's actually come down into this area. We then broke to the upside. Did we pull back for a 26.18? It doesn't look like we did. Nope, we didn't hit that 61.8. And it looks as though we could be carrying on a little higher here. So you may see a pattern, an advanced pattern here, from our swing high to swing low. We do have a potential back pattern if it's valid for you. X to A to B, B to C, CD completion. It may or may not be valid for you, but it is an opportunity. We may be able to see this a bit better on the 240. Bit ugly on the 240. Let's go and take a look at the 15. And on the 15, we may have an advanced pattern the other way. So X to A to B, B to C, CD completion down this way. So a sign of consolidation, this, guys, when we start seeing a couple of advanced patterns, 2 back patterns, 1 bullish, 1 bearish. Is anybody looking at anything on the euro dollar? Marcus, he was looking at 26.18. Yep. Our pound New Zealand trade is not looking too good. We're pushing higher, aren't we? We'll see if we could get a rejection off that 18400 number. It would have been a higher probability trade that if it was a first chance entry, but it was still valid. We'll see what happens. So nothing on the euro dollar for me either, guys. All the movement this week seems as though it's associated around the pound pairs. We'll have a look at the pound New Zealand. Hassan sees a buy on the euro dollar. Here on the New Zealand dollar, we spoke about the directional movement that we've been having at a couple of breakout patterns that didn't quite meet the rules for me. But if we look at the most recent one, which is this one just here, you can see that we had the breakout, the pullback, and we may be making our way lower. Were targets hit on this trade? Yep, if you took it the leg from this point, there was another breakout pattern here which won. I did say this wasn't one for me. It didn't provide me an entry just here. So 1, 2, 3, the fourth touch was just here, and the fourth touch ended up being a big lower low, lower close red candle, which meant that we had a very inverse reward to risk. So even though the trade played out, it wasn't something I could get involved with, but from the look of it, we did say we want to keep looking for these breakout patterns until we come down to the structure level, which is the 6600. So that's exactly what might be happening. We might be making our way lower. We'll take a quick look at the higher time frame. So from the dailies, we had the move higher, the pullback, the move higher, and now we're seeing a pullback. If this is trend continuation for you, you're going to be looking for a higher high, higher close candle. We've just had an indecision candle yesterday, and a higher high, higher close here could give you the entry you need to look for a bullish move. Let's go and take a look at the 240. And on the 240, to be honest with you, just the way price is moving, we're moving very, very directionally here. We could just see a move to the downside. I think we spoke about this harmonic move, didn't we? We have come down into a minor internal structure level just here. We are retesting. And there is the RSI confirmation. For me, this is not going to be valid. This is not going to be a double bottom I can take. It's simply come in to within internal structure here, guys. It's not coming within the lows of structure, which would have been here. So even though we may see a pop to the upside based on the harmonic move and the double bottom, it's not going to be a valid opportunity for me. So I'd really just wait for the break to the downside, but that would now bring us into our structure level. So until we get down to this point, I'm not really going to be looking for anything. We may see a double bottom down here, we may see a head and shoulders where we can look for a small buy opportunity, but not a great deal for me. Not too much. Let's take a look at the 60. No, and we know the 15, there's a couple of breakout patterns which are pushing the market a little bit lower. So not too much, guys, not too much. New Zealand yen, we have some workings out from last time. We were looking at a potential Gartley pattern, and I did say that this would be trend continuation if we did not come down to retest the A leg, because this is classed as a retest and we could not play for trend continuation. So that was not an opportunity for me, but what happened is price came up. We actually spiked past what would have been our stop loss by 1 pip, and the market is now making its way lower. And in actual fact, it has now come down into what would have been our targets. So if you did take this trade and you was not stopped out, well, congratulations. But for me, because we'd come down to retest down here, this was not an opportunity. Just like double check where I would have had stops, because small trades, I do tend to have my stops 280 hours back or at the 127. So 280 hours back would have been 6 pips from that point, would have taken me to 20. Yeah, if I was involved in that trade, it would have just stopped me out. I would have used 280 hours and it would have stopped me out by the pip. But it's nice to see that, you know, the move was correct, but because it was on the lower time frame, structure doesn't tend to be held as well, and we would have been stopped out if it was a valid opportunity. One second, guys, 1 second. What's happened now? Okay, we have violated on that double top on the pound New Zealand trade. Just going to take a quick look at the lower time frame. Yeah, okay. Manual exit on that trade, guys. We violated the double top. Manual exit, pound New Zealand double top. We violated the double top, minus 20 pips. So out of the pound New Zealand there, guys, we violated the double top. What a shame. It's 20 pips that we've lost on that trade, but it was an opportunity where we tested 7 times there. 20 pips for 100. I'm quite happy to take a few shots at those types of trades and be wrong and just be right once every 2 or 3 times. Guys, do you have anything on the New Zealand yen? We're going to take a look at the higher time frame. I think bigger picture is we are down now within the structure level that we've been speaking about for the last few days. Go down to the 240 and there's nothing here for me. We are literally just down within this price reversal zone. So I'd be looking for a deeper retracement here and maybe then some type of rotation pattern. Not too much either on those currency pairs. I think what we'll do is, because other than the pound, there really isn't a great deal out there to talk about. We'll take a quick look at the euro yen. We were looking at okay, this could be interesting. We were looking at this potential flag pattern, but we never came down for the 4th test, so that was invalid. But this is the higher time frame breakout pattern, isn't it, that we're still looking at getting involved with. I've been saying I would like to see a move up to our trend line just here. If we go down to the 240 and we take a look at what's happened, then this was the most recent structure level just here, and we've come into it, we've held it, we've come into it again and held it, and we've put in a big lower low, lower close red candle. Let's go and take a look at the 60. Okay, here on the 60 though, this violated our structure level just here, but then what we did is, if I put a structure level on just there, we actually came up and it looks like we had a little double top up here. We've held that level. Let's go and take a look at it on the 15. No, not valid here on the 15. And on the 60 then, this would not have been a valid double top for me either. So right now, guys, nothing again. I'm still waiting for a move up to our trend line and some kind of confirmation that we're going to come lower. Anybody got anything on the euro yen? A whole bunch of nothing, considering we've had all this movement out there. There's not a great deal to look at. And we'll make the pound dollar the last one, guys. Pound dollar, we said that there was this pattern, this butterfly pattern, but you can see, just like all the pound pairs, lots and lots of bearish pressure. We're seeing a little bit of relief now as the RSI went oversold here at about 3, seeing a little pop to the upside. Let's go and look at this from the dailies. Okay, on the dailies, structure level on at this level just here, and we spoke about this in the last webinar, didn't we? We said that we could see a pop here down to 12200s. That's exactly what we've done. So how far price will come now, I'm not too sure. This would be our next structure level down here, and I'd actually need to see, I'd actually have to load some more data, and see how low price could actually come here. But we are still moving bearishly. We are not oversold on the dailies. Morning, Stuart. Not too much to talk about, to be honest with you. All the movement has been in the pound pairs, and I really don't have a great deal on the other currency pairs. So we're going to make this the last one, and the move has already happened that I would have expected. If we were to see a retracement now, this would be a very large retracement into the structure area, and it wouldn't be something that I would look at to short. This retracement is too big. Let's go and take a look at the 60. Maybe this is some internal structure. Yep, just here. I think this is like the pound New Zealand, isn't it, or the pound Aussie, where we've got some internal structure where we can look at a potential short. We had the AB equals CD pattern. We may have something very similar here. I can't remember if it was the pound New Zealand or the pound Aussie. This AB equals CD pattern, no fib confluence, it falls a little bit short of our structure area. There's no psychological number just up here. You could make the case for a 382 from this minor fib level, but this opportunity is not as good as the pound Aussie. Let me just bring back over the pound Aussie for anybody that's just joined us. Pound Aussie, we've got AB equals CD coming into this breakout pattern to the middle of it, and we've got 1618 and a 382 fib. We do have the RSI that's already going overbought, so that's the only opportunity I would be looking at for shorts, to be honest, guys. And in this opportunity, I'd be looking at playing for a retest of the lows and that extension. Guys, we're going to make this a quick room. If there is anything that you'd like me to take a look at, please let me know now. Other than that, there really is not anything that's worth going over. Dollar yen, just junk. Just junk, guys. Stuart, I missed the pound New Zealand trade. Glad I did. Yeah, it wasn't the highest probability, Stu. I don't mind taking lower probability trades when it's only 20 pips, something like that. It's 20 pips for 100 just to target one. And we're pushing higher now. So the only thing that we're looking at, to be honest with you, is the pound Aussie. That's the only trade I've got on the radar. So what I'll say, guys, yeah, a very, very quick session. Well done to everybody that's caught a lot of the bearish movement on the pound. Well done to you guys. I know there's 2 or 3 of you that's banked around a couple of 100 pips. Well done. I'm still waiting for my winners to kick in. So apart from that, I will be within the chat today, so if there's any questions, let me know. Apart from that, thank you for joining me. Yeah, it has been a slow week, Stuart. Has been a slow week, considering we've had all the bearish movement, but we'll see what comes later on this afternoon. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the chat or on the next webinar.